Welcome to Seeking Alpha, the podcast where we're diving deep into crypto, careers, and the chaos of modern dating. I'm Larissa Bunziak.
And I'm Lindsay Poss. Together, we're two women who somehow found themselves at the intersection of crypto Twitter, Silicon Valley, and Tinder. Hey everyone! If you're listening to this, it's me solo this week. It's Lindsay. I'm so excited to share the conversation I have with you. Just know that I know Larissa's listening, but she's actually in line to be a special recurring guest on Dr. Phil. He wanted to go ahead and bring her on to argue with the elders of America more regularly. So she's in line doing that. If you don't get the joke, go back and watch our past episodes. We've had a wonderful time in season 1. We've been sharing so many stories with you, and I'm excited to bring you today's episode. The beginning of December, I was down in Miami for Art Basel or Art Week Miami, and I was fortunate enough through the good luck of having friends at Bit Basel and Oni Force to share the stage with Mark Sepulveda. Mark is head of crypto and charitable giving at St. Jude's Hospital. For those of you that don't know, St. Jude Children's Hospital is a research institution and hospital that treats childhood cancers and other diseases. They've been on the cutting edge of treating these diseases for a long time, and 100% of the treatment and care for these children is funded by the philanthropic donations given to the hospital. It's a wonderful, wonderful organization. Mark and I talk about a whole wide range of things, from charitable giving to developing the space to even touching a little bit on being a software engineer in the field and how he was able to stay in his position at St. Jude's for 8 years and just keep pushing along. So go ahead and give that a listen. We will be back with fresh content in your feeds, and I swear we're going to make it weekly. It's going to happen. Thank you all so much for supporting us so far, and enjoy the show. Hello, everyone.
All right, y'all, take it away. Thank you.
You got it. Thanks for the intro. As Alyssa mentioned, I'm Lindsay Poss. I do growth marketing at the Stellar Development Foundation. I've been with Stellar for about a year, and Stellar's been around for just over 10 years now. Mark, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself to kick us off.
Yeah, I'm Mark. I lead up digital asset fundraising for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and I've been over there. I'm coming up on my 8th year. It's a great journey.
8 years is like 4 decades in crypto, first of all. So good for you. That's such a long time. I think the reason why we're on this panel together today is because of the role that blockchain plays in both of our companies in helping us connect funds to people who need them is the fastest way to put it. So I would love for you to start with how you got to using blockchain at St. Jude's, what that journey looked like, and if you started with the problem you were trying to solve, as in getting money to people, or with the technology itself, as in, oh, blockchain is really cool, we should be leveraging this.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. So for those that don't know, St. Jude leads the way that the world understands and treats pediatric cancer and other catastrophic diseases. And we are a very sizable impact on the world. Like, we are a global organization. And to do that, it all started with a dream from Danny. Danny Thomas, when he founded the hospital, it was innovative. So innovation is built into our core. Nobody had a hospital at that time that was treating people irregardless of race, ability to pay, or their location. And so at the beginning, when I came over to St. Jude, I actually came over as a software engineer, and I'd already been in the crypto space for a while at that point. And I remember looking on the internal wiki one day, I'm like, I'm already doing crypto. Like, there's no way that we're not accepting it. And I had to take a step back, because crypto, at that time, everybody thought it was the solution to everything. But for us, what the solution became was you're able to reach a new audience. And that becomes the new problem, particularly in philanthropy. Reaching people globally and meeting them where they're at is super important. And lowering the friction for them to give is probably the most important thing. And we have a lot of benefits in the crypto space when it comes to philanthropy, and that includes lowering transaction fees. The friction is getting better in our space, particularly over the last 2 years. So I'm really excited.
Well, I want to jump around a little bit from our planned questions, because what you just said is so interesting to me, pointing out that this helped you reach a brand new audience. So one of the issues that I think the crypto industry has as a whole is there's certain characters who have dominated the news cycles and certain storylines that have dominated the news cycles. And of course, bad things exist, and I don't want to take away from that. However, there's also so much good happening in the space. So how are you able to work with both your traditional donors and this new audience to say, okay, crypto is a thing that we're going to use now and do, and we want to now move forward with reaching this new audience. while also acknowledging that like maybe some traditional donors might show a little hesitancy towards using this new technology or reaching these kinds of people? Like what does that balance look like for you?
I'm glad that you're pointing it out because it is definitely a balance. St. Jude is one of the few hospitals on the planet that is run by donors. Over 90% of our donations actually come from individual donors. We only get 12% of the cost to operate the hospital is actually through insurance. Mm-hmm. So generous donors are backing everything. So we have to take them into consideration when we build or try anything new. And so we had to sit there and silo it. And our crypto journey at St. Jude has been over 6 years. And 2 of those years was building policy for how are we going to work in this space. Mm-hmm. Me, having already been in the space, I wanted to run, but I had to get the understanding of, it's a 62-year-old hospital. You can't just throw risk into the wind. Like you have to be tolerant of it and understand how to properly do it if you're going to access this new, younger, emerging market. If somebody wants to donate crypto, they find it. stjude.org/crypto, just going to shill that right now. That's where you donate. But we don't throw it down. We don't throw it at everybody. We're very targeted in who we talk to about it. And if you don't want to donate that way, that's fine. But I'm hopeful that these people will support the more traditional routes.
How much success have you had with getting St. Jude and your mission in front of the crypto native audience? They can be difficult to penetrate.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We're highly adept at digital marketing and advertising. You see us on YouTube, you see us on TV. Many people in this room probably receive mailers from us. So we're experts in that realm. When it comes to Web3 and crypto marketing, that's a whole new frontier. And that, honestly, that's something that I think many people are trying to solve. I've got some ideas, but it's a challenge. It definitely is to reach the audience because there's so much noise. And raising above the noise is priority one when you're trying to get the signal out. So what we do is we show up at places like this. We show up at Consensus. We'll show up and be around at events like NFT NYC.
Yeah, for those of you that are in the industry, you definitely know that events are the way to any crypto audience's heart. I want to circle back to the kind of the use of the technology though too, because one of the huge benefits to blockchain and crypto in general is the transparency aspect. And when it comes to the work and what you do, being so heavily funded, especially by so many different donors that you're then kind of accountable to with the funds that you receive, how has having transparency in the process helped you?
Oh, that's an excellent question. One of the things that we first did when we launched stjude.org/crypto is we put the...
Perfect shilling, by the way.
It's
crushing
very tasteful,
it with that.
Very tasteful. But we put our hardware wallet in the FAQ on the page. And what that brings for, those of us in the space, we don't like sending funds to just random wallets. If you find somebody on Twitter that they're claiming that it's the St. Jude wallet, just go double check and verify, because there's a difference between a St. Jude wallet and someone fundraising for St. Jude. And we're working on building things for people that are trying to donate for St. Jude now. But what the benefit that ended up coming from that was particular communities, Art Blocks. I'm not shilling these projects, these are people that have supported us. Art Blocks, Pudgy Penguins, the Multiverse of Gregs. When they found that wallet address and they told people, hey, I'm fundraising for St. Jude, here's the smart contract, and here's the wallet embedded in the smart contract, that added so many levels of transparency. And let's be honest, if it wasn't there, I don't think that we would have seen the success that we've had. And what comes from that is we're able to watch right now. If you go look at our wallet, you can see that these projects, the last cycle, they're picking up again because we're still embedded. Those people are giving continuous support to St. Jude. It's $5, $10 out of every transaction is coming back our way that then we can go use to treat and support these kids. For frame of reference for everybody in here, on average, it can take up to 3 or more years for a patient for pediatric cancer treatment, and that costs $425,000. And we're covering the cost because of generous donors and supporters. So those $10, they add up. They're adding support to our mission to saving these kids' lives and finding these cures.
which is just amazing. I actually want to take a step back really quick. We got into the nitty-gritty really fast with this discussion. Can you describe what is on St. Jude? What is it? stjude.org/crypto?
You got
What's
it.
on the page?
So we have a donation link, a way for people to donate. There's a widget on there. We've been fighting for years to make it more seamless. I want to dig into that for a little bit. When it comes to crypto, it was so difficult for a long time for people to actually make meaningful transactions. And everybody's so used to credit cards at this point. You know, you can tap to pay, you can do these things. We're finally reaching the point where wallets are embedded and they're actually functioning the way that we had envisioned. And I'm a fan of nearly everybody that's pushing this space when it comes to wallets, because I've seen some things over the last year that have left me floored. People that are out here making, new widgets and wallets, and your example code is for donations, kudos to you. I'm hoping that y'all are in this audience.
More of that. Yeah.
Like more of that.
More of that.
There's so much more that we could do in this space. But so that's on the page. The FAQ, particularly as it relates to people in the U.S. jurisdiction, we're telling people we're not your CPA, but there is, your donation is tax deductible, and there's information where you can go to the IRS website and find that information. And of course, I think we haven't touched on this, but what's also on there is a ticker, and it's not a trading ticker. It is a ticker for how much has been donated through and raised through crypto, which I'm happy to say we're proudly over $5 million in 4.5 years.
Congratulations! Yeah,
thank you.
That's wonderful. That's so great. Okay, so now that we've gotten to the good news part, I want to take a step back, because at the Stellar Development Foundation, we've worked with major organizations. As you mentioned, 60-plus-year-old hospital. There is an element of foundational things that are there that can be very, very difficult to bridge into the crypto world. We've faced some difficulties with, not difficulties, I shouldn't say that. We faced long processes of implementation with the United Nations High Commission on Refugees, with the German government, to actually implement solutions that get money directly to the people that need it. What have been the major hurdles in what you faced in getting what you needed live to go live? You mentioned wallets as now that's coming on board, but looking back, what were some of the biggest challenges that you went through?
The biggest challenges were usability for the donors. That was honestly the largest donor-facing thing. And then from internally, it was building the policy. I legitimately was in meetings with legal for 2 years, at least for 3 hours a day.
Relatable.
But we were trying to do it right. Like, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I don't want to risk the St. Jude brand in that way. We don't want to. You don't want to take a step into this space that's booming and make the misstep that casts a shadow over this amazing light. Like, I'm obviously biased, but I believe St. Jude is a light in the world. So we didn't want to cast a shadow over what was happening there. And so the hurdle was that. It was getting the understanding that we could do it in a safe way. Because the narratives can scare some people, and people buy into narratives all the time. And it was just getting them comfortable. Like, we had to get comfort was the utmost. And then you work on, obviously, there's other internal processes. How long do we hold for those that are in here? It's also listed on the page. As soon as reasonably possible, we convert into US dollars, because as of now, the hospital still operates on US dollars. Maybe that changes in the future, who knows? But we're set up to be prepared for that.
That makes a lot of sense. And there's a couple points in there I want to dig in on. One is that building slowly, despite what the industry says, is not the worst thing. It can be extremely difficult, but moving with purpose is what a lot of organizations are doing out there, to be clear, but we could also use way more of across the industry. But the second thing is that you were able to maintain your personal patience, which I know you come from a software engineering background, you are a builder. What advice do you have to people who are building, who may need to learn how to deal with slowing down? And what were you able to do personally to not, you've been at St. Jude's for 8 years. It could be very easy to quit, and you didn't. So how'd you do that? Well,
I'm so aligned on the mission. I love what Danny and the families originally founded. And also it's to my benefit that I work on campus. So I see the work. I see the kids rolling around in their red wagons. because that's a caveat that a lot of people don't know. At St. Jude, we don't really use wheelchairs. So when you see kids that are on campus, they're in little red wagons, because we don't want them to think about that they're at a hospital, right?
They still get to be kids.
Yeah, let them be kids. And so, obviously I've stayed there, and that's what kept me motivated, was that I knew that I had to do it right. And we had to do it right. And that the mission is important to me. So if you're building, it needs to be something important to you. Quite honestly, it can't just be a cash grab. Mm-hmm. You need to build with something that you love and have a conviction about.
Mm-hmm. That is the advice to end all advice. That's truly, truly so wonderful. I want to close this conversation with looking towards the future a little bit. At the Stellar Development Foundation, we've been working on campaigns that bring together non-technical people who have great ideas with technical teams to actually build those out and bring solutions into the real world. So I wanted to ask you if you could snap your fingers and have a solution that's built on blockchain technology tomorrow to help further this incredible mission of St. Jude's that you're so passionate about. What would that solution look like?
All right. Every cycle, people open up Gemini, they go to Coinbase, they go to their exchange, and they will bet on tokens that may not necessarily be the best choices, right? They put $20, $100 in, and at the end of the cycle, they're going to be worth $1 or $2. Mm-hmm. And I think that with the meme cycle, we're going to see that a lot again. I'm sure that there's people that are holding projects that got rugged. Mm-hmm. But I would love a functionality where you could sweep those effectively dust tokens, put them in a box, and donate them in US dollars. That would... Imagine how much money is stuck in rugged tokens right now. I'm speaking in crypto terms, but these projects that aren't going to move again. Or you look at like I said, every cycle there's going to be tokens. People always look for the low cap tokens on Coinbase and Gemini, and they invest in those because they're like, well, it's got the high gamma, yada yada yada. I'm not giving financial advice, obviously. I'm saying those people oftentimes end up with a bag that. It's going to take me more time to sell 20 of these one-off tokens than it is if I just had a select all, send to do good in the world.
What I like about that is it actually plays very well to the mission of St. Jude's that you've already said, that a lot of the donors are smaller individuals and that things like $5 and $10 do make a difference. So yes, the collective power of all of those smaller tokens could be used to really, really make a difference. Mark, thank you so much for joining me in conversation today. Plug the website again. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, stjude.org/crypto is definitely the place to be. And I'll be hanging around for a bit if people want to connect.
Yeah. For those of you who are interested in actually doing good with your day, I have wallets from the Stellar Development Foundation that are preloaded with $10 USDC to make a donation to one of 4 charities of your choice. So come find me, come make a donation, come find Mark, learn how to donate to St. Jude, and you can find me on Twitter at Lindsay Poss, and I will be around. Thank you so much.